Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Rough Drafts. So this week, we are heading back to Lorwyn one more time. This time we have full block Lorwyn, which is a little unique, because it only has one set, and that's Morningtide. Value-wise, Scapeshift, Vendilion Click, and Bitter Blossom, those are the big ones. Also Mutavault and Idyllic Tutor aren't bad. Otherwise, it's kind of a continuation of what we saw in the first set. More crazy tribal themes, and that is kind of the plan. We opened a Gaddock Teague, and I'm not 100% sure how much that's worth, but I'm going to check. It might be worth something, maybe enough to take. Gaddock Teague, 4.23 ticks. So we're in a 10-tick draft. Kind of tempting. As far as good cards, Nameless Inversion is a very good removal spell. It benefits from the tribal aspects because it's all creature types or all card types. Smoke Braider is really powerful in an elemental deck. It taps for 2 mana, which is pretty insane if you just have a bunch of big elementals like Manticore. Gaddock Teague, though, is worth more than a pack, which probably means we got to take it, even though it's not very good. Yeah, we got to take Gaddock Teague for the value. And then just go from there. So now we get Impact 2. Giant's Ire. 4 damage to a player if you control a giant, draw a card. Kithkin Harbinger. Search for a Kithkin, put it on top of your library. Moonglove Extract, a Makeshift Mannequin. A okay Goblin. Couple of flyers. Not insane flyers. Big old Tree Folk. 3/5 Defender. You can clash, and if you win the clash, it loses Defender and becomes a 5/5. Moonglove Extract is kind of a bad colorless removal spell. Fertile Ground. Ramps. Adds mana of any color. This pack isn't all that exciting to me. Let's take Moonglove Extract and put off our decision making for another turn. Well, now we get an Aven Changeling, which is really solid. 2/2 flyer for 3, all creature types, so it benefits from any tribal synergies. Also, Lash Out is good. Kills a creature. If you win the clash, you get to deal damage to the creature's controller. I think those are the two best cards. Question is, do we want to go white for Aven Changeling, or do we want to Lash Out in red? I guess we take the removal spell. Let's head into red. So if we're going into red, I'm kind of regretting that we don't have that Smoke Braider. Smoke Braider is just an absurd card on turn 2. Tapping for 2 mana is incredibly powerful. Even if you can only spend it on elementals, but still, it's really powerful. That said, it's bad form to pass something that is worth as much as a Gaddock Teague. So now we get what? Another Giant's Ire. Those will come around later. Innerflame Acolyte, 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, target creature gets +2/+0 in haste until end of turn. So it can be a 4/2 with haste. Not horrible. Another Moonglove Extract. Bogart Spirit Chaser. If you control a fairy, it gets +1/+1 and has flying. 1,000-Year Elixir. You may activate abilities on creatures as though they had haste and pay 1 to untap a creature. Not super expensive. Pepper Smoke is good in the fairy deck. I guess we'll just take this Inner Flame Acolyte. Fine, aggressive red card. Aggressive red deck. What are we doing? Neck Snap is solid. Destroys an attacking or blocking creature. A pretty bad Goblin. A huge Giant. So 5/5 for 8. When it enters the battlefield, you get 2 3/1 elementals. You can sack an elemental to pump a Giant. I think we might just take Neck Snap here. There's also Kinsbale Balloonist, which isn't bad. Whenever it attacks, you can give a creature flying until end of turn, and it itself has flying. So you could be like Boros Giants / aggro. But if we're going to take a white card, we're probably better off just taking Neck Snap, I think. Yeah, let's take Neck Snap. Now we get Glare Welder. Haste. When it enters the battlefield, 2 creatures can't block. 5 mana, 3/1. Not bad. A good way to finish off a game. There's also Soulbright Flamekin. Gives a creature trample for 2 mana, and if you do it 3 times, you add a bunch of red mana. So you go from 6 mana to 8 red mana. Soulbright Flamekin is a 2-drop, and we are going to want 2-drops if we're going to be a Boros aggro deck. Glare Welder seems like a really good way of finishing the game, though. Let's take Glare Welder. I don't know if that's a great choice, but it seems really important for finishing the game. If we can just curve out and then play this at the top of our curve, we can probably end a lot of games pretty quick. Arbiter, really expensive, gains a ton of life for both players, big old giant. Goat Napper, when it enters the battlefield, you gain control of a target goat. Adder Staff Bogart, when it enters the battlefield, you clash. If you win, you get a +1/+1 counter on it. Blades of Velisvel is actually interesting. Gives 2 target creatures +2/+0, and they gain all creature types. It's a 2 mana instant. Tempted to take that as a combat trick and a way to get in damage, but we might just need more 2-drops. I'm going to take the Blades. Now we're not getting much of anything, although there's a Pilferers, and we could go red-black instead of red-white. Red-black isn't bad. There's a Changeling. The only white card is Shields of Velisvel. I think we're just taking Pilferers. It's basically a Grave Digger type effect. 3/3 for 5. When it enters the battlefield, you get to return a creature from graveyard to your hand, and if it's a goblin, it also gains haste. Well, Caterwauling Bogarts is okay. Gives goblins and elementals menace. And we have mostly goblins and elementals so far. It's also only a 2/2 for 4, though, which isn't super exciting. Moonglove Windwearer is fine. Let's just take the Bogarts, since we're heading towards red. Question is, are we going to be red-white or red-black? So if we're going white, Hillcomber Giant is okay. It's a hill giant, except it has Forest Walk, or Mountain Walk, rather. Giant's Ire, it deals some damage. I guess it's fine for closing out the game-ish. Basically like a Lava Axe. Alright, let's take Giant's Ire. I don't know if that's a good choice, but now we have a bunch of stuff that is essentially unplayable. I guess Exiled Bogart's a 2-drop, but discarding a card is pretty annoying. We'll take it. As long as you control a fairy, has +1/+1 in flying. Problem is, well, for black we could have some fairies. We could also just take another Giant's Ire. Giant's Ire is not bad, especially if you're able to draw the card off of it. Then it's not a bad card. 4 damage draw a card isn't bad. Face Vaulter, we'll take Face Vaulter. Whenever you cast a spell during your opponent's turn, you have each opponent lose a life. Destroy an enchantment, clash. If you win, destroy all enchantments opponent controls. Take the black card, take the Dawn Fluke. So I think we're heading towards black-red, but nothing is assured yet. So what do we have here? A good white card in Knight of Meadowgrain, although it's hard to cast. An elf rare. Wolves have Death Touch, pay 3, you get a wolf, but you have to champion an elf, so we probably can't really play that very easily. As far as black or red, Rebellion of the Flamekin, whenever you clash, pay 1, and you can get a 3/1 red elemental. And if you win the clash, it gains haste. We don't have much clashing, though, at this point. We'd have to intentionally try to get some clash cards. Axe Grinder Giant is big, 6/4. It's like a crawl worm of the giant tribe. Needle Drop is okay. 1 damage to a creature or player that was dealt damage this turn. Mud Button Torch Runner, when it dies, 3 damage to a creature or player. 3 mana, 1/1. It works pretty good with Face Vaulter, because we can kind of turn it into a really expensive bad lightning bolt. Not all that aggressive on its own, though. Yeah, that's fine. We'll take Mud Button Torch Runner. Ashling the Pilgrim. Elemental Shaman. Put a +1/+1 counter on it. If it's the 3rd time it is resolved this turn, remove all counters. Deals that much damage to each creature and each player. Seems reasonable. Hurly Burly. 1 damage to each creature without flying, or 1 damage to each creature with flying. Black cards. We have Dream Spoiler Witches. We have another one of the Menace Goblins, which will probably come around late. Vivid Crag would be alright. I think we just take Ashling the Pilgrim. It can get pretty big on its own. Now we have a bunch of green cards. A Foil Ponder. Auntie's Hovel is fine. It's fixing for our deck. It also is fixing for our deck. I guess that's most of what it does. Hoarder's Greed can draw some cards. A little expensive, but it might not be bad in our deck. I think the Axe Grinders are probably going to come back around. I think I'm just going to take Auntie's Hovel. That's the one card that I'm pretty sure we're going to play. Hornet Harasser. When it dies, target creature gets -2, -2. A 2/2 for 4. And there's also an Oblivion Ring coming around. I'm going to take the O-Ring. It's just so much better than everything else that I think we take it and just hope for a couple of Vivid Lands or a way to splash it. Now we get a Soulbright Flamekin. Probably just take that. There's also Flamekin Spitfire. 1/1 for 2. You can pay 4 to deal a damage to a creature or player. It's not bad, but Flamekin's probably just better here. Now we get Shimmering Grotto. Could help us actually cast our 2 white removal spells. Changeling Berserker is okay. 5/3 haste for 4, but you got to champion a creature. We have enough early creatures that we should be able to champion something. Otherwise, we can fling some goblins at our opponent. Get +1/+0 when flying, but then they get sacrificed. It's actually not horrible with like Mud Button and oh, we didn't take the one that gives -2, -2. Alright, let's take Changeling Berserker. That's probably fine. Now we have what? Ooh, Elvish Promenade. Get an elf for each elf you control is decent. Kinsbale Balloonist is still coming around. Gives things flying. Maybe we stay with white? Our black cards are not great. Like, Pilferers is our only really good black card. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you may put X counters on it where X is a creature's power. It's a big finisher. Big giant. Another Blades. Spirit Chaser. Flamekin Brawler. We probably need creatures more than anything else. Yeah, let's take the Spirit Chaser, I guess. Inner Flame Igniter is pretty solid. Creatures get +1/+0. If it's the 3rd time it resolves, they also gain First Strike, another Blades, and a Adderstaff Bogart. But I think Inner Flame Igniter is better. Now we get nothing. I guess we can take Needle Drop. We still don't have enough clashes to make Rebellion of the Flamekin work. Bogart Hoodlums is pretty bad. And Footbottom Feast is only okay. Maybe it's better than our other options. Gets creatures back from our graveyard. Otherwise, yeah, we'll take Needle Drop. Do we want a Hurly Burly? Is 1 damage to everything important? Let's just take another Carter Walling Bogart. Yeah, maybe we take the Hoarder's Greed now. It is a way to draw some cards. Probably better than another Needle Drop, but maybe not. Maybe Needle Drop is good in this deck. Yeah, let's take the Hoarder's Greed. We already have a Needle Drop. Take the Big Giant. Take another Needle Drop. Ingot Chewer can get rid of an artifact, and Blades, last pick. Well, I don't know if we have a good deck, but we already have enough cards to build a deck. So what are we really looking for, and what are we not playing? Obviously, opening Scape Shift and just winning the draft would be nice. We already have a Gaddock Teague, which pays for about half the draft. Ugh, Rustic. Jeez. So basically, a Reinforced Land. Not what we were hoping for in our rare slot. So what options do we have? Mudbutton Clangor. Been in your library, you may look at the type of your library. If it shows a creature type with Clangor, you can reveal it, and it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Morsel Thief. Target player loses 3 life, you gain 3 life. If you play it for Prowl, because you dealt damage with a rogue, then you draw a card. I don't think we have many rogues. Elementals and Warriors cost 1 less to cast. Meadow Boon is really good if we go towards white and dump black. Puts a +1/+1 counter on everything. Well, maybe we just take that. Burrington Bombardiers is also good as well. Alright, let's take Meadow Boon. Oh, and then we get an Anti-Snitch, which is a really solid rogue/goblin card. So it's very aggressive. 3/1, can't block. You can pay it for 2 with Prowl. Whenever a goblin or rogue deals combat damage, you get to return it to your hand. A big ol' goblin. Warspite Changeling is fine. It is all creature types, can gain First Strike. Lashkey Fairy is a good fairy card. Fen Creeper. Enters the battlefield with +1/+1 counter. Remove it. All creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn. Hostile Realms is interesting as a way to keep creatures from blocking. I think we just take War Spike Changeling here. Ooh, Rage Former. When it enters the battlefield with a put a +1/+1 counter on each shaman you control. Whenever a creature with a +1/+1 counter attacks, it basically Hell Riders. It does a damage to target player. Thornbite Staff turns a creature into a pinger. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, if it's a shaman, you can equip it. A semi-okay Goblet. Battletide Alchemist, prevent X damage to a player where X is the number of clerics you control. Jeez, that's rough. Do we have many? We do have some shamans. Alright, I think we just take Rage Forger. Maybe we end up being pretty close to mono red, interestingly. Equip creature has +2/+0 and Shroud. Whenever a rogue enters the battlefield, you can equip it. Otherwise, Ballyrush Banneret, not really for us. Roar of the Crowd, choose a creature type. Roar of the Crowd deals damage to target creature player equal to the number of permanents of the chosen type you control. Or the Big Goblin, a bad discard spell. I just don't think we have enough rogues. We do have the Shapeshifter spells to turn things into rogues, but how good is +2/+0? Now let's take Roar of the Crowd. I don't know if that's good, but sacrifice an elemental gets +2/+0 and first strike until end of turn. Elementals and warriors cost 1 less to cast. In reinforce, you can discard it to put a +1/+1 counter on something. Elemental, shapeshifter, warrior, elemental, warrior, shaman, shapeshifter, elemental, warrior. Alright, we'll take that. I guess that's fine. Declaration in Naught. Of Naught. Another Banneret. This one for Merfolks and Wizards. Big Old Giant. Cowards can't block warriors. Target creature becomes a coward. Target creature becomes a warrior. Really expensive, though. 7 mana is so much. We have a lot of Shaman. Let's take Thornbite Staff. Thornbite Staff is probably good. Is it better than Searing Pathblazer? Yeah, Thornbite Staff is probably actually pretty solid in our deck. Release the Ants. 1 damage to a creature or player. You clash. If you win, you return it to your hand. This is a weird finisher in some legacy decks. Another really expensive goblin. I think we just want Sunflare Shaman. Pay 2, tap it. X damage to target creature or player and X damage to itself, where X is the number of elementals in our graveyard. So it's a way to do a bunch of damage in the late game. Sensation Gorger. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may look at the top card of your library. If it shares a creature type with Sensation Gorger, you may reveal it. If you do, each player discards his or her hand and draws 4 cards. Ooh. That actually seems pretty good in our deck. If we can empty our hand really fast, we do have a lot of shamans. But there's also another Sunflare Shaman. Alright, let's go with the rare. Now we get our original pack back, and there is not much of anything for us. Let's take Morsel Theft. Thieves' Fortune is okay, but we're not blue. None of these cards are really exciting for us. Let's take Hostile Realms. That could be at least a sideboard card. I guess we'll take Ink Dissolver. What does this do? When an enchanted creature dies, you may return Reigns from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to a creature that shares a type with it. That's kind of annoying. Let's take that. Everbark. Exile a tree folk from your graveyard, search for 2 forests, put them into play tapped. Bad Flyer, bad discard. Yeah, we'll take Bad Flyer over bad discard. Alright, Searing Pathblazer. Ooh, both of those came back. And, well, maybe we really try to go mono red. Maybe that's what we do. Just mono red aggro? That might be the plan. Just get in quick early damage, and then Giant's Ire our way to victory. We do have 2 good white removal spells, but maybe mono red is the way to go. Let's see. So O-Ring is very good. Neck Snap is good. Meadow Boon is also very good, but double white, we can't evoke it if we needed to. Black cards, Face Vaulter, I think that ship has sailed. Exile your Bolgar is actually bad. Hoarder's Greed is not that great. So we're definitely not going to play black. Black is just, Warren Pilfers is really the only card I really like, and it's not even that great. And we have a lot of red cards. So how do we make this work? We have 18 creatures. We need to cut 6. Well, needle drops are easy cuts because they don't do that much. I wish we could sort by creature type, but we can sort manually by creature type. So this is a shaman, elemental shaman, shapeshifter, elemental shaman. That goes over there, over there, over there. Another shapeshifter. So these give our elementals and goblins menace, and they are also shamans, so I guess they're fine. Sensation Gorger, Goblin Shaman. So shamans are good with that. Shaman, hopefully. Elemental Warrior. Alright, so not Shaman. Rage Forger is the other real reason to play shamans. Goblin Warrior. Inner Flame Igniter, also a warrior. Hostile Realms is a spell. Thornbite Staff equips to shamans. Shaman. Removal spell. Elemental Warrior. Now, I think we get rid of this Bogart. Shaman. Blades are spells. Alright, so as far as shamans, we have 2-drop, 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 3-drop, 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 4 drops, and this is a 5-drop, but we can also evoke it as a 2-drop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 shamans. I guess we can get rid of this big giant for now. Roar of the Crowd could be good. We're going to play the Moonglove Extract. Thornbite Staff is actually kind of interesting. A Pinger might be good. Also, whenever a creature dies, you untap it. Yeah, I think we want to keep the Thornbite Staff in this deck. Hostile Realms, not sure about. Do we have any really good elementals and warriors cost 1 less to cast? So this actually makes a lot of our spells cheaper, and it's a 2-drop. We're definitely playing Lash Out. Inner Flame Igniter is actually pretty good. Mud Button Torch Runner, I could go either way. Second Elemental. Alright, not sure about Path Blazers. Roar of the Crowd, kinda hit or miss. Hostile Realms. Do we care about making creatures not block? I kinda want the Blades as combat tricks. We actually don't have that many more cards. We gotta cut probably 2 more cards, I'm guessing. We probably don't want to go 16 lands. I don't think. We're not that light on lands. So we need to cut 2 of these cards. Giant's Ire can help us close out the game. Hostile Realms helps us get in damage with our creatures. We have 16 creatures, so we don't necessarily have to play more. Torch Runner, there's no real synergy. It's a 1/1, but when it dies, we get to Lightning Bolt something. It's not like we get to sack it or anything. Path Blazer only sacks an elemental. We do have a lot of elementals to sack. I guess we can play one of those. Might get rid of the second one. I guess Hostile Realms is fine. Alright, we'll play the other Searing Path Blazer. We don't have any giants. Maybe we don't want Giant's Ire. Just play it like that. Mono red aggro, essentially. We do have the needle drops, which if we have real filler we can bring in. They're not bad. 1 damage, draw a card, they cycle. We don't have any fairies. We have 1 Hostile Realms. Yeah, let's try it like that. All mountains. Mono red shaman, essentially. Alright, we'll submit it like that. We'll be back with round 1 of our Lorwyn Morningtide rough drafts.